I have been figuring out exactly how I want to do this absolute Batman review. So I was gonna wait for my physical copy to come in. I had to order a physical copy. I checked a few comic book stores around me. Nobody had them. They were all sold out. And I bought the digital copy. I wanted to read it, and man, I'm glad I did. I watched some reviews. The reviews were good. Of course, they went over full reviews, but I think even when you watch a full review, you never know how you're really going to react to a book when you read it. And man, seeing this thing visually, the script, the whole plot, man, this was good. So let's get into Absolute Batman and what a joy this book is. As you can see already, the look of Batman is not like you're used to. Of course, this is an alternate universe, which, look, I know the multiverse thing is really overused a lot, but that doesn't mean every time it's used, it's not good. This is one of the instances where the multiverse is used and it is actually used in a good way. So again, as you can see, Batman is a beast in this. He is definitely not like you're used to seeing. Way different. And even his cape is more akin to an actual bat's wings. So he definitely modeled himself more after a bat. And his cape seems to have tentacles at the end of these little bat wing sections. So it's definitely very different than what you're used to. It is written by Scott Snyder and drawn by Nick Dragotta. Good combination. I always say you have to get the right artist for certain books, and they definitely did that here. So in the opening scene, you open up to some school, I'd say probably maybe 6th, 7th grade kids, maybe a little younger, going to the zoo. And they're having a conversation with their teacher. And you see Bruce is here, and his name is called out. So he's obviously in grade school at this point. And now you open up to a scene. Okay, so there's little things that's done in comic books that are really done well. So you open up with that scene of Bruce and his classmates at this zoo, and then you get to this scene right here with Gotham City. And the way it's drawn sets the tone for the book. It feels like something epic, yet something different. And you open to Alfred saying, "Hello again, Gotham." Now, in this universe, Alfred is somewhat of a bad dude in a good way, right? He seems to be British SAS, some kind of special forces. And I know there have been certain iterations of Batman that has that as Alfred's backstory, which in my humble opinion, I think that is a better backstory for Alfred, and I think it makes more sense. I don't have a problem with backstories being changed as time progresses. We're in a different time, so Batman changing up, at least for this book, I don't have a problem with. So you open up obviously with Alfred riding into Gotham. I'm not gonna read through the entire book. Definitely worth going to read. And Alfred stops at a friend's house, someone that he has known and visited before. So this is not his first time in Gotham. There's a bigger thread and a bigger theme going on. And there's some people, you don't really know who they are yet, that has sent Alfred to Gotham to put some eyes on this gang that is running around Gotham. And they are terrorizing the city, like absolutely terrorizing the city, killing people brutally, torturing them. I'm not going to go into the details of how some of these people are tortured, but man, oh man, I'm telling you to get this book. So Alfred, he's seen here meeting up with his friend Amir, who they met in Kabul some years ago. So they have a little, conversation. He goes into the house. Obviously, Alfred has a safe room in this house, and being special forces, like I said, I believe he's SAS. This makes sense. He has safe houses in different places where he has all his arsenal, different things for him to use and also having a computer and internet connection, right? Getting to his people. And you see him in here drinking his tea, as the Brits like to do. Nothing wrong with that. And he calls someone. You find out this someone that he calls is his daughter, and she happens to live in Gotham. So he's like, yo, I'm here. I want to see you. And maybe this is why he has been to Gotham before. Or maybe when he came to Gotham the last time, he had some kind of romantic interaction with someone, had a kid, was never really around due to the nature of his work. This is just me guessing. It doesn't really say in this book, but clearly what you find out in this book is his daughter really doesn't want anything to do with him. He probably wasn't around. She doesn't understand why he wasn't around, or maybe she knows what he does and she doesn't like it. Anyway, now Alfred is doing some digging into this party animal gang. This is the gang that has been running rampant through the city of Gotham. And they wear these baboon masks, and they look scary. They're like a baboon skull. And it's psychological torture. The things that they've done to the citizens of Gotham, coupled with seeing them wear this thing, oh man, I guarantee these people, yeah, they were terrified. Guaranteeing they were terrified. So anyway, you see Alfred put his stuff on. He's ready to go out, and he is ready to see what's going on. Now, the people who hired him, they warn him that, hey, there's another player in Gotham. We're not really familiar with this other player, and we're not really sure what's going on with him. Now, for whatever reason, and this is the odd part, they don't want Alfred to interact with the party animals. They just want him to watch and observe. But they have given him the green light to interact with this other player, which I found that to be odd. So now you enter this scene where there is a gym, Croc's gym. And this dude is working out, doing his thing. And initially when I was reading, I thought this was Bruce. But no. Bruce is a Hulk of a character in this book. So as this dude is working out, Bruce walks up and he's like, hey, I think it's my turn. And this dude is like, hey, yeah, I don't want no problems. He's trying to get out the way. And Bruce is a brute. He is an absolute beast of a dude. I mean, this dude looks like Incredible Hulk after the transformation. It's crazy. I don't have a problem with this. I actually like this version of Bruce. They have their little conversation. Bruce destroys this heavy bag. You gotta be a beast of a person to destroy a heavy bag. Like, this is, I'm not gonna say it's undoable, but man, no normal guy, even an above average guy, can't do this. You have to have some strength unparalleled. So Bruce destroys the bag, and then it goes back to this memory. And you find out that the teacher that is here with this group of kids is actually Bruce's father. Man, what a twist. So his father is actually a teacher in this universe, and Bruce is one of his students, and a very brilliant student at that. You find that out in this book. So something happens while in the course of this field trip, and shots are fired. So Bruce's dad, well, I'll get back to that. It goes back to the scene of Bruce destroying this heavy bag. And he's talking to his friend who owns this shop. And he's like, hey, man, I'll replace this. My bad. So they have a little interaction back and forth. He's asking Bruce if he's going to show up to this town hall. There's a town hall meeting where the people are going to discuss how they're being terrorized by the party animals. Now, there's a lot of details that I'm purposely skipping over. I'm not giving you everything because books like this you should go out and buy and go read. I think we need to support the comic book industry when things are done right. And I believe this was done right here. So, they have that little interaction. Bruce is like, nah, not showing up. And they go back and forth for a little bit, talking about his business, talking about the party animals, what's going on in Gotham. And you see the picture of Bruce and his friend when they were younger. And of course, seems like a much better time in Bruce's life. He was happy. Something happened, something tragic. And now you enter the yacht of one Mr. Maroni. Now, as you know, crime families in Gotham, they run everything. And this person shows up in this mask, or is it a mask? Ominous looking person, and talking to Mr. Maroni, and they have a conversation. And this is one of those situations where there's some, not pleasantries, but there's some light words shared back and forth. And Maroni's trying to figure out, who is this dude? Does he not know who I am? The problem is, does Maroni know who he is? So in the course of having this conversation, you can tell Maroni's getting a little agitated. Like, doesn't this guy know the rules? Do you know who I am? Do you know who you're talking to? Well, then what we have happen, I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward. This dude kills Maroni. Wow. And he just is. There is no lack of bloodshed in this book. I'm going to tell you that right now. Again, I'm skipping over a lot of things. There are details that I'm not going over because I really do believe you should go out and read this book. And I'll try to do that with my full reviews. I'll try to maybe skip over certain things as to not give you everything. So as you read the book, there are definitely things you pick up on and you go, oh, wow, I didn't know this happened. And I didn't know that happened. So switch past that scene. And now we come to, you see Bruce putting on a cowl. Of course, he's Batman. And you see different scenes on the news, different things that the party animals have done, bloody massacres of people. And you see Batman standing on this ledge, as he always does. I love to see Batman on a ledge. And like I said, Nick Dragotta's art in this book is done very well. His art fits Batman. And as I've stated time and time again, you got to get the right artist for certain books. There are certain artists that are good, but maybe not good on particular characters. Of course, you see Batman jumping off this ledge, as he often does. I love it. Now you enter, I'm about to knock stuff over here. Now you enter this town hall meeting and you see what is Gordon. Now he's not the commissioner. This is Mayor Gordon, if I'm not mistaken. And I will read some of the interaction. He says, please, everyone, one at a time. All right, go ahead, sir. You ran on your record as a cop, Gordon. And when we gave you a chance, but under Mayor Hill, at least we weren't being killed off. So this dude has a problem with Gordon as mayor. He's like, yo, you ran on your record as police commissioner, but now we're getting killed off. Now that you have this position, we're not protected. we don't have any protection. These party animals are going crazy. And you see many people in the audience standing up, voicing their opinion, and they're mad. The people are mad. The party animals have no remorse, and the police seem to be doing nothing. Tensions are flaring up, and the party animals show up. But you see Alfred overwatching the whole thing, of course, in his tactical gear. You see the party animals show up with their baboon skull mask on. Of course, like I said before, to demoralize the people. And Commissioner Gordon, amidst his conversation, tempers flare again. One of his officers is getting mad, and he's like, relax. People are mad. Tensions are flaring. And there's a discourse about the fact that this is exactly what the party animals want. They want us warring against each other. They want us to be at each other's throats. They want us to blame each other for what's happening. And then what happens? Bang, an explosion. Door flies open. The party animals have arrived. Everybody ducks down. They fire their guns. This is not one of those books where you see a hesitation. Like, they come in guns blazing. Things are going down and there is no wait. But yo, this is where you see the bravery of Mayor Gordon. He says, up here, look at me. Whatever you want, deal with me. Definitely the act of someone who's brave. And I like that. They blast on him. He's hit. You see him pulled down to the ground, and now you see his daughter. So obviously she's mixed. He was with a black woman. Someone mentioned, I think it was Thinking Critical, mentioned that some people say that this comic book is woke, and I agree with Thinking Critical. I think he had a very well-balanced review. This is an alternate universe. How do you know it's an alternate universe if everything is the same? So I don't have a problem with this here. I don't think it's woke at all, at least at this point. So he goes down. You see his daughter scream. Then you see some tentacles come out of nowhere and grab these dudes, and the door slams. And you see one of the police officers looking out the window like, what the heck is going on? And then the police officer who looked out the window, he says, my God, there's dozens of them out there, a whole army. So who could it possibly be out here that's going to do something? I like this line right here. This I'm going to read. One of the other officers opens the door. I believe this is Barbara. And she says, we need to secure and you see Batman, and he says, whatever you hear, do not open this door. Oh man. And I'm here to tell you that this version of Batman is pulling no punches. This dude is going for broke. He has a chip on his shoulder, and he has something to prove, or maybe a vendetta. Which one is it? So these dudes are trying to figure out what's going on, what happened, who pulled him out. They hear something and they start firing. Clearly, his outfit is bulletproof, and the bullets are just whizzing all over the outfit, and he's coming down, and boy, he's coming down with a vengeance. And this right here, this is one of the best pictures of Batman in a very long time. And you can see, like I said, how his cape is more utilitarian than his other cape. Not that his other cape didn't have a utility, but this one is more tentacles than a cape, if that makes sense. And they have a purpose. You saw him use them when he pulled these guys through the door. It's amazing. So they're firing. He comes down, and he is absolutely laying waste to these cats. And you can see how he is drawn. He is a hulking character. This is a big boy. This is not Bruce has always been physically fit, imposing character, but this Batman is imposing. He is definitely super imposing. He's throwing these dudes through windows. He's throwing them against lampposts. He is jumping over them. He's kicking them in the face. And Alfred is watching this and he is impressed. He's like, this dude has skill. He can tell that he's trained. He is striking. He has precision. And he's watching Alfred wants to see the whole thing play out. So as more of these people come up, you see Batman doing his thing. He's using blades. But what Alfred notices is you're purposely missing major arteries. You're brutal, but you're not fatal. You're making a point. You're letting these people know. And then you see Batman walking down these steps with all these people laid to waste. Now, you know you always got to have your big dude, your big villain that believes he has the answer. He's the one that's going to deal with the problem. So you see, big dude coming down and he has some things to say to Batman. He's like, oh, you think you're it? Wait till you have to deal with me. He's moving everybody else out the way, making his way up there. And he has this big meat cleaver. And he's telling Bruce, or Batman, of course he doesn't know this is Bruce, get out of my way. And Bruce is standing there looking down at this thing he has in his hand. And you're like, well, what is this? This is a small item. What are you going to do with that? This thing turns out to be an axe. Oh, I think this dude barked up the wrong tree again. I love the imposing figure that this Batman is. He chops the dude's arm off or his hand off. I was like, bro, what? Batman is going straight savage in this. And he tells the dude, yo, I think there's a hospital down this way, or maybe it's this other way. You get there fast enough, I think they can sew that back on. Wow. Yeah, this is they were not prepared for this. Batman is meeting the party animals with the very savagery that they delivered, but yet without stooping to their level. This book is written very well. So he's telling these people, get out of my way. I don't think they want no problems with him. So they go running. And Alfred says, you're not a tactician. If you were a true tactician, you would have set a trap for Up. Spoke too soon. He sets off an explosion. Batman just laid waste to these people. Now Alfred is like, this dude, he's impressed. So he goes down and he gets the drop on Batman. Or does he? So they share a little bit. And Alfred gets down there and he wants to see what's going on. So he pulls this weapon on him. And this is what he says. He says, that is the sound of a DC-34 automatic shotgun, son. There are only 3 of them in this world. It could blow your brains all over this sidewalk before you even blink. That's what he says. And Batman kicks the dog snot out of Alfred while taking his gun. And he says, this sounds dangerous. Yo, Batman is a G. Batman is a G. And then you find out he's a construction worker. So while he's destroying things, you now see him rebuilding things. It's interesting. Not only that, he ends up working on the very steps that were destroyed in that later interaction. You see him laying some flowers at this site. He was at the Gotham Zoo. What happened there? And then you find out his dad, during that interaction at the Gotham Zoo, ushered all the children to safety. I think they were in the area where the bats were, right? So you kind of get a spin on how he became Batman, how that whole interaction came to be. And his dad was murdered, mercilessly murdered. So clearly this would lead Bruce down a dark path. Smart young man. And you see Alfred has done his research. He's like, you're a smart man. Up until that point, what happened to your dad, you were on track for genius. Got off track a little bit, got back on track, went to college, played ball, had a small injury, and you seem to have quit. And Alfred offers some psychoanalysis. He was like, I've seen stuff like this before. Men who took minor injuries and they retracted from everything, treating that minor injury, like it was something big. So they were really trying to get out of their duty. But he's like, yo, but I don't get that sense from you. You were saving yourself for something. You were saving yourself for exactly what I saw you do the day prior. And he goes into some of the accolades of Bruce and some of his wisdom. He's been following him. Now you find out that Bruce's mom in this book is still alive. And that was her, or she was one of the people in the audience at that town hall, saying some things. Actually, she was a voice of reason in that town hall. So Alfred is thinking to himself, man, I could take you out right here, right in front of your mom. He gets a text from his daughter, never contact me again. Kind of took him out of it a little bit. Bruce, of course, walks with his mom, loves his mom. Now you find out that Bruce, now I'm going to tell you my theory. Here's my theory. I'm just going to put this out there. In this story, Bruce is not a millionaire, but I believe he actually is. I believe he is a millionaire hiding in plain sight because, see, he was a genius. And you find out a little bit about his genius when Alfred goes over his history. Again, there's some things I left out. You really need to read this. So he's in this abandoned building. This is where he has set up shop. These buildings are like tax write-offs. They're proxies. They really don't mean anything. But I think one of his shell corporations probably owns this building. This is just my thoughts, my guesstimation. So Alfred rolls up on him thinking he's got the drop on him. And here's what you find. Bruce lets him know, yo, I've been watching you since you entered the city. Nothing missed me. You find out about all the things that Bruce has studied, from criminology to physics, I believe, and some other areas. Like, this dude is a legit genius, as he always is in the comic books. And what Alfred didn't know is Bruce again had the drop on him, blasted him with his gun. And Alfred is like, yo, you're not a killer. Wasn't expecting to get blasted. What he didn't realize is Bruce changed the gun and made it non-lethal. And as he shoots him, he drops the gun at Alfred's side and takes off with Alfred's motorcycle. Takes off out of the building, jumps out the window. Like, this is crazy. This is such a savage Batman. I love it. Alfred's still trying to figure out what the heck just happened. Alfred had no clue what he was in for. This version of Batman is magnificent. Something else happens in this book that I'm not going to cover. I'm going to give you a chance to read it. So I didn't spoil everything. There's something else in this book that you'll definitely want to see. But I think this book was done so absolutely incredible that it is worth your time and worth reading.